Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Possessor. Possessor is a 2020 film from Neon, written and directed by Brandon Cronenberg. The film follows Tasia, an agent for a secret organization that uses brain implant technology to commit assassinations. And that's where I'm going to leave you on the synopsis because I don't want to give anything else away. Thanks to the Cinemania World page, I did receive a screener for Possessor, and this screener was the uncut version. So, as of filming this review, I don't know which versions are going to be available in theaters or online, so keep in mind this review for Possessor relies on the uncut version. I didn't watch trailers heading into the film, which is often the case, particularly with smaller films. I try to avoid them. I don't need to see the trailers. Let me just get the film. Let me just see what the film has to offer. However, I did know from the film festival circuit early on in the year that it was getting really rave reviews. But I was also hearing that it was a brutal watch, so getting this uncut version, I was very nervous heading into this screening. However, I loved Possessor. This is easily one of my favorite films to come out of 2020 so far. So let's go ahead and get into those positives. Well, first of all, I have to commend Brandon Cronenberg because this is a beautifully directed film. Everything about not only the cinematography, but the format and editing within the film, all of the technical aspects work beautifully together. As we switch into the mind and get these reddish orange color schemes going on, almost technicolor, in the contrast to the real lucid world, is such an inventive way to show that transition, and it's done beautifully well throughout the entire film. The score is also fantastic, and I do think that the editing keeps us moving at a fantastic pace to where nothing really drags. You are constantly pulled into this very intriguing and unique storyline. Additionally, this is a wonderful script. I think it's a well formatted story. I think the storyboard itself unfolds beautifully throughout the film. The dialogue works really well. Our characters, without a lot of background, are really well crafted and work to make the story flow as it does. A beautiful script and a beautiful film on technical levels. Now, this is a sci fi horror film, if you will, and I definitely think it works as just that. It's a great sci fi horror film because without those sci-fi elements, the horror here doesn't really work. In saying that, though, the horror elements are definitely the moments that stick with you most. We have some insane imagery and concept work that is shown on screen in this film that will sear into your mind. Take one look at that poster and you get a little preview of what you're in for in the actual film. And it's beautiful in the narrative that it's helping to convey, but horrifying and haunting in practice. Also, the ideas within the script are horrifying in practice. But I couldn't stop thinking about this film after watching it. It imprinted into my mind. Both the concepts as well as the ending just left me in awe, reflecting on what it was that I just experienced. Now, the acting cast is also fantastic. Christopher Abbott is basically our lead in this film, and he is wonderful. And then we have Andrea Riseborough, who is basically our co-lead in the film, and she is also beautiful. And they have to work off each other, and they do it very well. And this film allows for these actors to really showcase what they've got. And I really appreciated how much these actors were able to stretch their abilities and really go into some crazy places. And just seeing these actors inhabit these characters, sometimes characters within characters, but doing it all so well. Oh, the acting is fantastic. Now, Jennifer Jason Leigh and Sean Bean also have smaller roles. They're very good as well. This is certainly the Daniel Abbott and Andrea Riseborough show. What doesn't work so well when it comes to Possessor? Well, my biggest complaint is that the science of it all isn't really explained. And this is actually still a pretty minor complaint for me because as we work through the film, Cronenberg does a great job of basically showing you what starts to happen within the science of it all. There are moments where you're kind of confused as certain effects are taking place or certain actions start to happen. The science of these chips is just kind of taken for granted. And honestly, I didn't care too much because the film seemed to stay consistent with what was happening and why it was happening. But when we have some of this psychological science going on, it's always a bit of a negative when the film just brushes over and doesn't bother to even try to explain any of it. In addition, something happens near the end of the movie that I think was, I don't know that it was necessary, and it came across more as a shock factor. When you're in the scene, you kind of guess why it's happening. However, the timeline of that happening and why that happened and how that happened seemed to be much more for convenience because it needed to happen. And then we follow that up without much repercussion. So while it got that intended, like, horrified kind of shock out of me, upon reflection, it was kind of like, wait a minute, I don't know if I really appreciated that. But overall, Possessor was fantastic. It is gory. It doesn't shy away from showing you the kills and the blood. It's also quite sexual. It doesn't shy away from showing you nudity and sex, so be prepared. But if you can stomach that, I think this is a great sci-fi horror film. One of the best we've gotten in some time. Not to mention, I just loved how open-ended this ending is. It will leave you guessing, it'll leave you thinking, really going back, reflecting on the film, as I said. So watch out for Possessor as it comes out in theaters. I think this is definitely worth a full price ticket. But of course, if you do choose to head back out to an actual movie theater, make sure that you, one, feel safe in doing so, and two, you follow all precautions and guidelines set up by local governments and or the movie theater itself. Please be safe, follow the guidelines, follow the rules so that you make it a pleasant experience, not only for yourself, but for those who are out there working to bring us this entertainment in these crazy times, as well as your fellow guests. That is my review of Possessor. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Possessor? Have you even heard of this film? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!